Wednesday. It has been a few weeks since I have done a live stream. I had a masterclass workshop going, and then I was away on retreat traveling last week. Had an amazing retreat. I was invited in to lead a group hypnosis for Kathy Heller's Limitless Retreat down in Boca Raton, Florida, and stayed the whole time. And then, of course, I tend to attract travel shenanigans, even though I set my intention I'm going to have good, wonderful travels. Things always happen, but there is a lesson in patience in all of that, right? So it's all about energetics, which is what I wanted to talk to you about here today in the Wednesday Live. So if you have any questions, you can just pop those in the chat in the Facebook group. If you're over here on LinkedIn or maybe you're on YouTube, just drop a comment. I will circle around and check those comments. The reason I wanted to speak about energetics is because Friday is considered a portal day. And then later this month begins the window of the Lionsgate portal. And the Lionsgate portal peaks on 8/8. So it starts around July 26th and it ends around August 12th. So I wanted to bring this to your attention so that you could have some awareness on it, because right now, whether you look into astrology or any of those things, cycles of the moon, like I know this is not going to resonate with everyone, but we are influenced by the energies of the sun. We're influenced by the energies of the moon. In healthcare, people would always joke it was a full moon when women would start going into labor and pouring in the door, or when we had patients who emotionally weren't coping well, firefighters, police, emergency personnel. We all had this awareness that when there was a full moon that things shifted. And it's because we are impacted and affected by energetics. And with the moon that happened this week, and I'm not an expert on these things, I actually follow people to learn for myself. So I'm not going to sit here and teach you about this, but it's the moon that we just had is associated with greater spiritual awareness, greater spiritual awakening. And what are you prepared to let go of so that you can step into that? What are you willing to move on from? And it goes back to the teachings that I've learned around to not be stuck in the past. Don't live in the past. Don't let your past stories, beliefs, and as I say, indoctrination, a friend of mine calls it domestication. Don't allow those things to limit you in where you are and where you are going, because that definitely can happen, right? It happens to us all the time. For most people, the choices that we make today are based on the information we've received in the past. We choose based on what we believe is safe, secure, and all of those things. But right now is a time to lean into possibility. It is a time for you, whether it's through your professional success or your own personal growth, to lean into the energy of what is possible, to lean into the energy of show me. So in 2013, when I trained to be a hypnotist, all of this is going to tie together, I promise. In 2013, I trained to be a hypnotist. And when I signed up for that training, I did not realize that my father and my stepmother were both about to have serious health issues. And when I had that training, I walked away, even with everything that was blowing up in my life. I walked away and I knew I had to practice hypnosis. Like it was like my soul had pulled me to that place. I had been guided to that place. And then it was like, here is your path. And, I didn't want to go borrow money. I didn't want to sink a lot of money into starting a hypnosis practice because I still planned to work in anesthesia. I wanted to be smart about it. And I had all these things going on and I was really confused. I was like, in my heart, I knew I was supposed to start it, but I was having to go back and forth from Connecticut to Mississippi to handle things. For some of you, this might sound familiar. We can't hit the pause button in life when we're building a business, or maybe we decide at university, hey, Landon, glad you're joining. We can't hit the pause button on life when we're going after something that's meaningful to us. So what would happen between my stepmother's illness, me helping her navigate, my dad having Alzheimer's, him going downhill, all of these things, and my soul is telling me, go this way. I ended up meeting with the vice president of medicine at the local hospital where I gave anesthesia. And my goal was to see if I could rent a small office out of one of the hospital buildings for a small fee. And in exchange, I would give all hospital employees a discount. And we ended up having 2 conversations over a couple of weeks. And I ended up sharing, his name's Buddy McDowell. Love him dearly, an amazing man. I remember looking at him and I said to him, I'm like, Buddy, I have all of this going on in my life right now. I'm not even sure if I should start this business. Like, so much has happened since we first talked. And he looked at me and he said, Penny, you cannot put your life on hold because of what's happening in someone else's life, because we can't predict the future. You have to live your life and things will fall into place how they may. And that was my power, whether you call it God, the universe, source, it doesn't matter to me what you call it. I call it God sometimes. Sometimes I call it Christ consciousness. Sometimes I call it the universe. It's all the same to me. I don't discriminate. But from that day forward, I would literally say, I knew there was something there. I knew it was possible. I couldn't see it. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know what it looked like, but I would literally say, you know what? You just open the door. You show me an opportunity and you open the door and I will walk through it. And there were synchronicities, because there are no coincidences. There were synchronicities with the universe over the next 18 months that were absolutely undeniable, absolutely undeniable. And what it showed me is that I'm meant to be on this path. Now, things happened and we ended up moving cross country. And I wasn't in my hypnosis practice for a while. And I've talked to you before about values and how that created so much tension in my life because my soul wanted to be on one path. And in my 3D world, I was on another path because I didn't see a way forward. I slipped into this place of trying to control. When we're energetically aligned, we have to let go and trust that things are going to work out. We lean into that energy of possibility. And what's happening this week and then later this month into the beginning of August is there are a lot of energetics that will support us. It may feel uncomfortable. We may feel like we're having a caffeine rush or a low blood sugar. We can physically feel it in our body. We don't feel like we have our feet on the ground. But to fully lean into this possibility, it's super important to manage your thoughts. I've talked about this in some of the other lives that I've done. You've got to master those thoughts. You've got to master your awareness. Well, you don't have to master it right now. That's long-term goal is mastery, but begin to pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to where your attention is, right? There are energetics in our thoughts because our thoughts create emotions. Emotions generate feelings. It's all chemical response. We're chemical, we're electrochemical. We're sending this energy out. And you know what I mean. If you're new here and you've never really thought about it this way, if you've ever walked into a room, you were in a great mood, you were in a happy mood, you go somewhere, you walk into a room and you're not there for 2 or 3 minutes. And then all of a sudden you're like, I have to get out of here. Like, what is going on here? Like all of a sudden I'm feeling down. I feel irritable. That's energetics. That's everyone else's emotions and energetics in that space. And when you go in that space, you are impacted by it. A lot of really successful people don't speak too much to there are more now, but not everyone speaks to the spiritual piece of the energetics. They will talk about mindset. They will talk about how important it is to have your energy aligned when you're on sales calls, to operate from service and not from business, right? When I get on calls with people, I'm not thinking about money. I'm thinking about, can I help this person? And how can I be of service right now without any attachment to whether or not that person ever decides to work with me? Because that's not why I'm here. I'm here to help people in whatever way I can. Now, that being said, right, there is this energetic piece to it. There is this spiritual side to that, and our beliefs and our thoughts have to match the energy that we want to bring into things. Feelings are hugely important. And in entrepreneur circles, you've probably heard the quote by Jim Rohn before: we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. If you want to be a millionaire and you spend so here I am, I'm at multi 6 figures, right? I want to be a millionaire. If I spend all of my time hanging out in Facebook groups where people are promoting freebies, right? And there's this energy of, I've got to get my business started. I've got to get my business started. I don't know how to start my business. That is the wrong place for me to be. Now, I can go into those groups and serve, but that's not where I want to spend my time. I want to spend my time in groups with people who have hit those multi 7 figures and are striving for even more than that. Because for me to elevate my thinking and my energy, I want to be in that energy, because that's who and what we become. Okay. So we lean into the vibration, we lean into the feelings of possibility. And when you really sit back and you think about it, what feeling comes up for you when you think about possibility? If you truly sat back and you thought that and believed that anything is possible, what would you feel? If you're on the Facebook Live, just drop it in the chat. What would you feel if you truly believed anything was possible? Because feelings matter. Our emotions matter. Emotions have vibration. And our vibration is extremely important. I don't believe in gratitude bypassing. I don't believe in pushing down our feelings. A lot of people will think, oh my God, I got so angry. It's going to throw everything off. It's going to throw my manifestation off. I'm not going to get what I want. No, the feeling wasn't going to throw that off if you didn't stay stuck in it, but the belief that it's going to throw everything off really shifts your vibration, and that indeed will. You have to believe in what's possible. If you have any idea of what the best vibration is to be in, you can just drop it in the chat there. I see everybody who's here today is shy, and that's okay. I have days where I don't have a whole lot to say either, and that's all right. So if you believe in law of attraction, if you believe in manifestation, if you have a strong belief of faith, because that's really part of what law of attraction is, it is faith. If you read in the Bible, if you're here and you're a Christian and you're not sure about everything that I'm saying, it says in the New Testament, ask and you shall receive. It is given, amen, it is done. And so it is, right? And it talks about faith. You simply ask and have faith that it's done. Nowhere in the Bible does it say, try to make it work, figure it out. How do you have to make it happen? That's not there in any of it. So when you think about that faith, when you think about that love, when you think about that energy, that is energetics. That's all energetics. And that's what it means to lean into this possibility, to not question. And if you find that it's like, oh yeah, great, manifestation, law of attraction, I do all those things and they don't work for me. We get to look at what causes us to think it's not working, because we are always co-creating, even when we co-create what we don't want. I shared with you all how I co-created and manifested the workshop burning, all because I wanted a dumpster. And if you're new here and you don't know that story, it's in one of the other videos, but maybe I will do a video just on that so you can see how powerful co-creation is. And it's interesting, it is easier for us to co-create the things that we don't want than it is the things that we do want, because more often than not, the things that we don't want, we will make an offhand flip comment. And because it's not a place we want to focus our attention, we just drop it and carry on, right? And so then those things show up in our life. So that's what we have to do when we're working on manifesting something that we want, is to just put it out there and then just keep going and just be in the energy of it's already happened. So the reason why I was bringing up energetics, I mentioned the portal day on Friday, 7/7, and then the Lionsgate portal. I wanted to share with you usually I do my best not to teach too much on these calls, but what you might begin to notice is that on 7/7 and right around it, or during the Lionsgate portal, if you are aware of your dreams, you might notice you are dreaming a lot more. They're very vivid. You might notice that you get a lot more intuition and inspiration. That's what happens in these portals, right? We get inspiration, we get intuition, we get messages, we see signs. I encourage you to get a journal and keep track of those things. You don't have to act on everything that comes through, but write it down. Keep track of it and lean into the possibility that anything is possible, and set powerful intentions in this time. Know where your thoughts, your beliefs, and your energy are aligned during these times, because it's a powerful time. And if you're getting sucked back into old beliefs, if you're getting sucked back into old thoughts, that's not going to serve you, right? So it's a really important time to stay tuned in. Now, last year, one of the things when you all came in here that I mentioned was that I'm not going to sell on these calls, but I do want to share something really powerful with you. It's in the description of the video. Last year, I did a workshop for Lionsgate, and it has a pretty wild hypnosis in it. It was a pretty energetic experience for all who were involved last year. That replay is available for $22 until Friday. Friday night, it's going up to $33. So if you want that hypnosis, it's $22 right now. It's the whole workshop replay. in the hypnosis, because at the end we talk about grounding, because for some people it really opened up a lot of energy. So I want you to have that. So there's the hypnosis audio only, and then there's the whole workshop video and audio. It's lifetime access. You can buy it, download it, you've got it. Lean into this time. Create what it is that you want in life. Stay focused on what you want. Stay focused on what you're attracting in, and manage those emotions, manage those thoughts, manage your awareness to bring what it is that you want into your life, because you will attract in what you're a vibrational match for. And maybe we'll dive into this a little bit deeper sometime in the future. So if you have any questions, let's see, just check right quick here. No, I don't see any there. Okay, awesome. Well, I will see you all next week. That link is in the description. I do have only one spot left for one-on-one this month. So if that's something that interests you, DM me. We can talk about what that looks like, see if you're even a fit to succeed the way that my process is set up. And I will see you next week.